Okay? Okay?
Oh, yeah, we're good, man.
We're good? Whoa, man down here at Enemies of the State, Tom Trento. Friday, I don't even know the date.
30th, January the 30th, sir.
I have, how many senses? You got 5 senses. Everybody has 5 senses. But when one is overwhelmed by dog stink, then
Hey, watch it.
when you're overwhelmed by dog stink, you're, and I love our mascot here in the studio, but she's got to get a bath there, owner of dog stink.
Did you hear that, Lulu?
Got to get her a bath.
Did you hear that? It's bath time this weekend. The boss says so.
I love you, Lulu, but you're way too close to me. I can't even see or hear. The smell is, whew. What are we going to do in the new studio? New studio's coming great, looking good, be in a week or so. And watch out, Enemies of the State. For all of you watching on theunitedwest.org, you're going, where's Tom's mouth? He doesn't have a mouth anymore. They cannot see my mouth. And if I do this, they can't even see me at all.
That's a big microphone you got there.
I know, man. But we have Batman to the rescue at 7 minutes after 4 o'clock on the, what did you say it was, the 30th?
January the 30th.
Friday, January the 30th.
Friday,
I'm
the
tired,
30th.
man. I'm tired.
And we're down one director of technology.
Man down. We have Mark Campbell not with us today. Thus the jury-rigged. It's not jerry-rigged, everybody out there. Go look it up. It's jury, Jury, jury-rigged. It's an adjective for totally like duct tape screwed up studio right now. And I thought my Batman shirt, a gift to me from J. Mark Campbell's number one person in his life, yet to be named. We'll keep her name out of this. Gave me this Batman because my favorite crime-fighting hero is Batman. I thought today, with no director here, with limited equipment, because we took a lot of it to Washington, D.C., and with all of us burnt out and tired, we need a little crime-fighting help from the Mystique legend Batman. So I have my Batman shirt on today. All right. How are you doing there, single-man producer, assistant director, now in charge of flying the ship?
Doing okay, but we just started. I'm sure I'll mess something up along the road today.
It is tricky. We miss our Mark, but he's a little bit under the weather. How did that happen?
He's under the bottle.
No, he didn't have enough medicine. No, he doesn't travel well. He takes all these, whenever we fly, and used to be quite a bit, now less so because we do a daily show, but whenever we fly, as we're getting to the airport, he opens up like a special case of every pseudo infomercial, cold alleviating herbal method under the sun, Chinese, Japanese, Siamese, anything. Try some of this herb, it'll make you try. He's convinced, J. Mark Campbell's convinced that tube that you fly in is just a petri dish, just an Ebola factory, and he always catches something. And in fact, on the trip over this past week, and we'll tell you about our trip to Washington in a few moments, he said, "Oh, I'm dead, after we landed. I said, why? He said, I left that germ stream on me. You know the germ stream?
Yes, the air nozzle in an
The air
airplane.
conditioning vent that you want to get nice air. He thinks it just recycles everybody's germs and shoots it right up your nostrils or something. But he got sick. So our prayers and our speedy recovery out to J. Mark Campbell. We will get through this show with Damon at the helm and me half asleep here because we got in late. Why did we get in late? Because our flight was canceled out of Washington yesterday. Actually, we got from Washington to Newark. And well, maybe we'll let you tell the folks a little bit about your excursion in Newark, New Jersey, but in a bit. And then as we were waiting in the lounge in Newark, New Jersey, little bit of a delay, few minutes. 3 hours later, cancel flight. Everybody's going nuts. What do we do? Mark's on the floor, half asleep. Damon and I are trying to go online and rebook. Oh, man. But the way I look at it, I've been flying for a long time, over 1 million miles. The way I look at it, a little bit of delay beats a lot of walking in the cold weather or driving, so no big deal.
Was it cold up there?
Up where?
In D.C. and Jersey and Cleveland.
What were you doing up north?
We were there for the Iran Truth Squad.
All right.
Which was pretty phenomenal. Some phenomenal speakers.
All right, what we did, folks, and today on our Jump and Juma Freaky Friday, we're not going to jump too much and we're not going to Juma too much. It's a Freaky Friday, though, but we got Batman with us. Today on our...
Trento. Very sorry, late as usual on the Fridays. Very sorry. Hello, little Jewish man behind the TriCaster.
Oh, my word. Look who it is. It's Imam Abdullah. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, Infidel.
Good to see you. We were in Washington, D.C., where you have quite a few homies floating around there. Let me tell you.
Yes. In fact, the majority of the cab drivers in Washington, D.C. are brothers of mine.
Well, we must have taken probably 10 cab rides in the 3 days we were there, and only 10 of the drivers were named Mohammed. So
it's very popular.
Yeah, it's a very popular
And what
name.
is so nice there, it is not just one country. They represent all of the Ummah, practically. It is like the OIC in yellow cabs.
Well, let me tell you about this experience we had, Imam Abdullah. We had it yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday? No, the night before. The night before. I don't know when. Damon, when was that? The Iranian driver.
That would have been Wednesday night. So
on the way home
ago.
from our lounge. Okay. We'll tell the folks about the lounge, too. And we just went to blue screen, and we're back to that screen. What was that all about?
I told you I'd mess something up. Come on,
That's
man.
okay. The blue screen reminded me of a computer that went down. Hey, folks, we provide on every single show a significant morsel of serious national security insight, serious national security analysis, serious national security understanding. Except for today's show, okay? Nothing serious coming out of today's show. Now, we may have something for you. But
Maybe a little later.
But listen to this. This was Wednesday night. After we live streamed the Center for Security Policy's Iran Truth Squad presentation, which was amazing. You can go to centerforsecuritypolicy.org.
And it's the second story on the right-hand side of the screen.
You click on that, and you can watch a 2-hour, very serious presentation of what's going on in Iran. I'm going to highlight it in a little bit. But we live streamed it, which means we took a bunch of our gear from here. We had to actually purchase a little more software to get it done. And we're doing stuff that 5 years ago would cost $50,000 for a TV studio to go do this somewhere. But Mark, who is a genius with this stuff, is amazing, can figure out the United West shoestring budget way to do this. So we went up to live stream because we felt it was very important to get this out. We were in the basement of the United States Capitol. They have a bunch of meeting rooms down there. So we went down there in the inner bowels of the U.S. Capitol, and we hooked up on the internet, which was super fast, by the way.
Unbelievable. Hey, for everyone who listen, we all know our government doesn't spend our money well. I can assure you they spent our money well on this internet. For those of you not familiar with normal internet speeds, your typical house has like 5 down.
No, let me do it differently.
Go ahead.
Best way of understanding it is the internet car you're driving that's in your driveway has 5 horsepower. Okay, our studio here has 10 horsepower because we're putting out a show, so we have twice as much horsepower as you. The internet horsepower at the United States Capitol with the Ethernet cable put into our computers was how many horsepower, Damon?
700.
No. The Ethernet was...
Oh, well, 1,000. That's right. That was the wireless.
Keeping the comparisons, it was 100 horsepower. At home, they have at best 5, usually
Not
more.
on upload. You're usually going to be around 1, believe it or not.
Yeah, my upload horsepower in my house is 0.5, okay? A half a megabyte a second. Our studio is 10. The United States Capitol had 100 megabytes per second. So if you got 10 pictures at 10 megabytes, you can upload all of them in 1 second at the United States Capitol. Unbelievable.
To let people know, we'll get off of this. I'm sure we're starting to bore some people. I tried to upload...
Not the geeks.
I tried to upload the MP3 of our radio show from our hotel, where we're paying $10 a night for internet. I tried to upload the show. It's 107 megs, the MP3. It said it was going to take 36 minutes.
Okay,
36 minutes. I did it in the basement of the Capitol in under 20 seconds.
No, it was amazing. We have never seen... I should have taken a picture. We did a speed test on it. That's how we know the numbers. And this is important because we are going to revolutionize the world, change the world, defeat Islamic Jihad through these sort of modalities, through social media, through the internet, through Twitter, through all of this. So you got to have that cyberspace capabilities. That's why we're so excited.
Dom ISIS has been doing this for over 1 year now, very effectively.
They ain't getting 72 up and 72 down, that's for sure.
No, they are not, but they're very good with the social media.
But they're getting 72 virgins, though.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, so we do the gig on Wednesday. We finish, then we go back to our hotel, take our suits off, suits and ties. Suits and ties?
That's right. All of us, except for Corn Dog, with no tie.
Alan Kornman from Orlando did not have a tie on, but Mark, beautiful suit.
Mark, nice suit, nice tie.
You had a nice suit, but your suit looked like it was 23 years old.
That's because it was 23 years old, Tom.
Okay,
from when I graduated college.
Still looks pretty good, though.
Made in Yugoslavia, the country that no longer exists.
No longer exists. That jacket's worth something, that whole suit. I actually had a tie on, and truth be told, in a former life, I used to wear a lot of suits, very nice suits, Armani, all kinds of different Valentinos.
Now you wear Comic Hero T-shirts.
Now I wear these things. Should I pull some of those suits out? I got about 20 pounds to go for those suits, though. But
I think we're just going to green screen your belly. We decided, and then you can put the suits on.
Look, black. There's no. You can't see shadows with black. So I got about 20 pounds to go. But I'm doing fine. I'm happy. In any event, we leave. We go to one of our favorite places to relax after a very long, very difficult day. We had a 2-hour presentation, 7 speakers, sending it all over the world, and live. It was live, so you can imagine. We had a couple of glitches. We had one crash. We had a little audio glitch in the beginning of it. We sorted that out. But basically what we did was nothing short of astonishing to put that live thing out with B-roll and all of that. So we went to celebrate a little bit. We go to a little cigar bar in Dallas, in D.C., Washington, D.C., and we'll have a little something to eat, have a glass of wine or a beer, and smoke a good cigar, and kind of critique ourselves. What was good, what was bad, what happened. We do all of that. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock, time to go home. We're not late night owls. We're early risers.
No, it was actually when we were leaving to go there. It was on
the way there?
Yeah, it was on the way there.
Oh, this one was on the way there. That's right, because on the way back, the guy cut the distance in half.
Right.
On the way from our hotel to our cigar bar, we have a cab driver, and he's like a comedian.
Affable guy.
Yeah, so we ask, I think, who was in the front? Mark was, right?
Mark or Alan.
Yeah, he goes, hey, where are you from? The guy goes, I'm from originally Iran. So we get into a little conversation. Are you Persian or are you...
Arab?
No, not Arab. Iranian. Are you Persian or Iranian?
Persian is Iranian.
No. But Mark asked, are you Persian or Iranian? And I didn't know there was that much of a distinction, but he said the Persians are more Eurocentric and the Iranians have more Arab influence. So there is a division within Iran. So... How do we get off on Jews?
So being he said he's from Iran, one of us goes, "Oh, so what do you think? What's going on with the nuclear negotiations?
Oh,
Do you
right,
think
right.
Iran should have the bomb?"
He goes, of course, of course. If Israel has the bomb, Iran should have the bomb. That's what our
That was
cab
the
driver-
first thing out of his mouth, and then he continues to say that everyone should have the bomb.
And this is a guy who's been here, 35 years?
31 years,
Yeah.
I think.
So he's probably a citizen. We didn't ask him that. Probably is. And his immediate criterion for determining whether or not Iran should have the bomb is Israel has the bomb. Now, we just left a 2-hour briefing with 2 CIA people, an admiral who commanded the Pacific Fleet, an analyst, Andy Boston, who knows the threat doctrine inside out, Frank Gaffney, Trent Franks, Congressman Trent Franks on the EMP, with some of the world's top experts.
Yoram Ettinger.
Who categorically and comprehensively said, no bomb for Iran. The freaking cab driver from Iran says, of course Iran should have a bomb. So we go, okay.
And then it continued downward from there.
Now, you got to understand, as we're riding, we're now starting to look at each other like, okay, we should be taping this.
But none of us can get into our pockets because we're tuna canned in the car.
And we're in this tiny little car. We have all big, heavy overcoats because it's 19 degrees in crazy Washington. So we get off on the Jewish thing, and this guy starts. Now, we have 2 Jews in the car. We have
Me and
David
Alan.
And we're throwing out, we're egging the guy on. Like, what about the Jews? Those Jews. He goes. That's the problem. When you want to take over, when you want to build your country inside somebody else's country, you're asking
In
for
the middle
trouble.
of other people's land.
Yeah. You're asking for trouble. So we're going, where's our cameras, man?
If it was one guy, you'd say the guy is just anti-Semitic. The guy represents, this is a guy that spoke perfect English. He had an accent, but he spoke perfect English. Somewhat humorous guy, but so anti-Semitic.
Oh, my word.
It
Jew
was
hatred. He hated Jews. Yeah.
Hating, Israel hating POS.
And a nice guy, because he's joking with us about capitalism and about, I got to make more money here. Just an affable guy. You'd figure, oh, nice. When you get down to the issues, the Jews are bad. Iran needs the bomb to take care of Israel. And these are guys driving around Washington, D.C. We all know, and here at the United West, we've been pushing this for a long time, that one of the best, foremost strategic positions to put agents of other countries are professors in college classrooms, but also cab drivers. We had an experience 2 years ago. We were in New York covering Ahmadinejad when he came to the United Nations, and that's when we videotaped the Imam Shabazz from Brooklyn saying, what was he saying about?
I demand an international law to ban blasphemy.
That was Imam Shabazz. That was September 23rd, 2012. I remember that day directly. That's when Senator Vello, I think his name was.
Vello, yeah.
The New York State Senator, who was one of the grand marshals of the Muslim Day Parade that went down 34th Street, sitting up on the dais, and this imam starts going off on Jews and Christians and all of this stuff, and Vello leaves the stage. I go catch up to him. I interview him. We put the interview up, and it's gotten, 250,000, 500,000 hits, something like that. But when we were there that couple of days, we went and covered Ahmadinejad, and we went to the hotel Willard or W, whatever it was, where he was staying. He had his whole coalition of people, and we went and we videotaped the Iranian cab drivers that were outside, waiting to pick up people. They were talking. The cab drivers were talking to the limo drivers, the Iranian limo drivers, who were part of the ensemble of Ahmadinejad, and and we talked to them, and we're going back, and they're all agents. All these cab drivers, many of them are simply agents for other countries. Think about it. Think about the sloppy tradecraft that takes place when a couple of people that work for the USG get into a cab. They've had a couple of drinks at night, and they tell the cab driver, I got to go to Virginia, take me home. And the two guys start talking, and loose lips sink ships. And these guys, the cab drivers, have their little recording devices going, and they ask a couple of questions. Oh, yeah, how are you? Yeah. And before long, you have what's called intelligence, and they just send that to their embassy, whatever country they're working for. And their embassy puts that into a little packet in a little place and builds a profile of whatever they're trying to get information and intelligence on. So what's the point of all of this? I do not let any of us ever speak about anything in a cab. We're in the advertising business, and and we answer very flat. Never tell anybody ever what we're doing anywhere. And any of you doing any of this kind of work, when you're in a cab anywhere, shut your mouth, okay? Shut your mouth. You're being recorded by somebody bad somewhere. So very important in Washington, D.C.
True that.
All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Truth Squad event, Iran Truth Squad. You can find that. Do we have it up? We'll send you to centerforsecuritypolicy.org, and we're going to put that website up. We want you to go watch it. It's 2 hours. You can take your time watching it, playing in the background. We, the United West, we're producing a 1-hour special that we'll put out next week on this. We're going to edit down the concise material with a lot of B-roll. And it's going to be a very important piece in our tripartite, our 3-part series on why the United States needs to bomb Iran now.
Say what?
Say what? What did he just say? I said that we are concluding here at the United West that it is essential for the United States to bomb Iran's at least 4 nuclear facilities immediately. I'll stick a caveat in here, okay? We have a March deadline for negotiations with the Iranians, and then we have a June final. This is really the final. Now in June. Now in June of 2000, this is it. Now, we're not going to let the Iranians push it.
Can I have another extension, please?
No, this is, For 2 years, we've been extending these stupid discussions while the Iranians are building a nuclear bomb. We argue in our 3-part series that the most dangerous country in the world right now, particularly for the United States of America, even more so than Israel, is Iran. And common sense will tell you that the Iranians are dedicated to getting the Persian bomb, not just for political reasons, not just for military reasons, for theological, eschatological reasons. And therefore, before a certain red line is met by the Iranian capability, nuclear capability, their facilities have to be destroyed, and the consequences of that, which are going to be very, very bad, are much better than the consequences of an Iran with a nuclear bomb. That's how we're going to argue. First part of our argument, we're going to make it very logical, very detailed, very sophisticated, very substantial, absolutist argument. Nobody can overcome the argument we are going to make as to why the United States, not Israel, the United States needs to bomb the nuclear facilities of Iran to oblivion, setting back their nuclear program at least 5 years. And then a whole bunch of things have to be put in place before we do this, and then after we do it, and get ready for some rough water. But the world will be a better place after those 4 facilities. The facility at Ishkatan, the facility at Qom, which is Fordo, the facility at Natanz, and the facility at Iraq. Those 4 facilities. Everything else. Iran has about 11 or 12 facilities that are known, and probably that's all, because we have inspectors there literally every day, writing reports every 3 months. But only 4 of them have the lethal capability to rush to a bomb within a 2 to 6 month period. That means right now, if negotiations fail, within 2 to 6 months, the Iranians have a nuclear bomb, 1, maybe 4, depending on a couple of factors. Once that happens, the world has changed, and all the options that we have available pre-nuclear Iran are off the table, and it's a whole different paradigm. So we are arguing that it's time to bomb Iran, and that's the wisest, most logical, most rational thing. And every argument that will be thrown up against what we are going to argue is a superficial, emotional, non-substantive, irrational, politically correct argument, having nothing to do with the national security of the United States. That's the pseudo justification for 2 other options: eternal and endless negotiations, or containment, as opposed to prevention. There is a subset of national security experts in America, and this includes the president, notwithstanding the fact that he said they will never get the bomb, that are moving ahead with the policies they're articulating that are nothing short of containing a nuclear Iran, as opposed to preventing Iran from having a bomb. 2 completely different worlds your children will live in, containment versus prevention. If we opt for containment, there will be a nuclear explosion by Iran somewhere within the next 5 years, undoubtedly. They have to accomplish their eschatological objectives, their end time view. We're going to lay all this material out. Friggin' Trento's crazy. He's talking about bombing Iran.
Yes, you are crazy, man. But I could tell you, as a Sunni, Tom, I'm very torn, very, very torn with America bombing the Iran. On one hand, I hate the Shia so much because they are heretic filth. And yes, I do believe that we will have to fight them. But as a Muslim, they are part of the Ummah, and I could not root for you against them. So very difficult. I would like to see them dead, but not at the hands of kuffar.
Well, if there was ever a time, Imam, when Batman was needed, it is now, let me tell you. But you got a good point, because when you do the analysis for the theory that we are proposing, and I'm going to tell you the 3 parts that we're going to get to make our argument. Look, we goof around on this show, and we have a lot of fun and all of that, and that's by design, because that's the people we are, okay? We like to enjoy life. And I got a little message for my Muslim friends in a bit. Remind me to share a little message with my Muslim friends. That they can enjoy life. They can laugh and have fun and enjoy
There
art
is
and
no
culture.
laughing and fun in Islam,
I
Tom.
know, but I'm gonna suggest another way, a path less traveled by Muslims, where you can enjoy soccer, you can enjoy music, you can fly a kite, you can race a sports
In
car.
Pakistan, very big, this kite flying gets big problems for the organizers of this kite festival every year.
But just and I'll take a moment to talk parenthetically here, then I'll get back to the Iranian situation. Just think for a moment, my Muslim friends who are listening or watching. Let's just hypothesize that God exists. Let's start with a blank canvas, okay?
Of course, Allah.
We slop up a God on there, and we don't know if he's Allah, or if he's Jesus, or if he's Buddha, or whatever. Well, all we know is there's a God. And we have to assume, there's certain things you have to assume, that if there is a God, he has omniscience, he knows everything. Otherwise, he's not God. I mean, if he knows a little bit of stuff, he could be me or you, Well, omnipresence, he's everywhere at once, so otherwise he's not God. I mean, there's some principles of the definition of God that all the world's religions hold to. So these aren't big steps of faith. But for our Muslim friends now I'm looking at the personality of God. If you had to construct a perfect God, do you think the God would be evil, or do you think he'd be loving and gracious?
He would not be evil, of course not. Loving and gracious, maybe not so much either. He would be fair, is what he would be.
Okay, he'd be fair.
It
That's
is
good.
not his job to love.
And if he created the world and said the world was good, and that he gave people a free will, the ability to choose right or wrong, otherwise all he created were robots, that's a very important theological point. People ask me all the time, well, Christian Tom, why is there, why did a jerk guy stab the little baby and kill him and set him on fire? Where's your God there? These are difficult questions, not hard to answer, very easy to answer, but there's so much emotion involved that people don't like the answer. The answer is very, very simple. God, when he created man, God has options, okay? God could have created humans to not have a free will, not independently make decisions and go in the particular way that they choose. He could have created human beings to go only as he programmed them to go perfectly the right way. What kind of human is that?
It is a non-human. It is like a robot, like you say.
It's a non-human if there's no alternative to do how you're programmed. But God rolling the dice saying, oh my God. Do you think God ever said, oh my God?
That would be like me saying, oh, demon.
Okay, think about that one. Big theological question. Did God ever say, oh my God?
Nope.
He rolled the dice. He said, I got to invent people here. I got to create them so they can listen to me or not listen to me. Now, all of you dads out there, all of you men, all of you dads, and even you moms, do you want a child that only can do everything perfectly but has no free will? He just does everything right but doesn't have a choice in that? Or do you want your child to come to a point in their understanding between good and bad and to make the right decisions that way? What kind of child do you want? Don't answer that. Think about it. Now, if you on your microscopic human level prefer a child that has the ability to choose right and wrong and makes the right decisions, because you're human then, ought not God conclude that that's the best way? And I have come to believe that the best way in all the worlds possible, the best possible world, has humans who have a free will. That means you could stab a little baby in the eye and throw him in the fire and not implicate God in that evil because it's the evil you chose as an individual.
Makes sense.
Very important point. Now, if that's true, then for my Muslim friends out there, if we're constructing on a canvas the perfect God, and he gives us the ability to have free will, and he creates a world that he says is good, the world, but he put people in charge who have the capability to choose evil, now we're going to navigate through this very good world. When you see a rose bloom, who in their right mind could say that's bad? When you see the sun rise over the ocean or the mountains and that warmth come from it, who could say that, well, that's horrible, that's bad? When you see the mother of a mother cow giving birth to a little cow. I'm not a cowboy. I don't know the terms for this, but there's the little baby is suckling there. I mean, you see the beautiful, loving nature of animals right there. You go, that's pretty cool. That's for real. But then somebody can get a shotgun, go over there, and just start shooting and killing all this stuff for no reason at all. And you go, whoa, what's that all about? How'd you allow that, God? Because God gave people the free will. But to my Muslim friends for a moment, when somebody creates an instrument like a violin, and then someone trains for a very long time to make beautiful melodic notes come out of it, and just a sound that ingratiates itself in a wonderful way with your soul and your thoughts, you go, that is pretty cool. I mean, I can't play any instruments, but when I hear somebody masterfully play a piano, it brings tears to my eyes. I go, that is beautiful. It's called aesthetics, is what this is. And then you go, thank you, God, for somebody creating this and somebody learning to present this beautiful sound. But no, in Islam, that sound is not beautiful. That sound is evil. Now, I submit to my Muslim brothers and sisters that to have a God who de facto and a priori says that music is evil. Now, could some forms of music be evil? Of course. I'll be the first to admit that.
They were on our plane.
Yeah, exactly, right. Is all music evil? Well, that's something Muslims have to decide. If you decide that all music is not evil, that there is good and beautiful music, then now you're out of sync as a Sharia-compliant Muslim, because we all know the Sharia does not allow the listening of music, does not allow the enjoyment of music. And we decided in our cigar bar the other day, and I hear music playing. I hear music from the heavens playing. We decided in our cigar bar the other day in D.C. that as much as we give a lot of Muslims a hard time on the theology and the politics of Islam, and we do that by design because, in all honesty, we're not the Islamophobes. We're Muslim philes. Phile means love. We love Muslims. We're Islamophobes. We don't fear Islam, but we love Muslims to the extent that we tell you the truth. And it puts many of us in danger for telling you the truth. And you don't like this.
It even puts me in danger just to be heard with you regularly.
To be hanging with us, I know. Puts us in danger to tell you the truth, but that's who we are. I mean, and you can disagree with us for sure, but don't disagree with us because you don't like us. Disagree with the validation that we place in your doctrine, your scriptures. That's what we do. And when we say the Sharia doesn't allow music, here's what we really mean by that. The Sharia doesn't allow music, okay? That's what we mean by that. And if you have just constructed a perfect God who a priori, before the consideration of the type of music, excludes it as something you can listen to, that is no God you or I want to follow. It's pretty simple, really. So we're going to share these sort of things.
Music is overrated.
We're going to share these sort of things with you as we go through our show. And we're going to present a better way where you as a Muslim can continue in your faith. You can do that all you want, but there are some portions of it that you need to really seriously reconsider. And there's a better way. We're gonna present options for you.
Do you know who's not considering a different way?
Who's that?
That would be the Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood.
The Egyptian, are they still in existence?
Yes, they are, Tom. In fact, they were recently here last week with a meeting, actually earlier this week, meeting with the State Department.
You mean at 44 minutes after 4 o'clock on Friday the 30th of January, 2015, here, Tom Trento, your host, Enemies of the State, WSBR, Radio 740 AM. We had at the White House?
Yes. Phenomenal story by a guy I was lucky enough to meet in Garland at the Stand with the Prophet event in Dallas, in Garland a couple of weeks ago. Met Adam Credo of the Washington Free Beacon.
Yeah, Washington
Yes,
Free Beacon.
And he has a story out today. And this is amazing. And you might have to have your little intern here help explain this.
I think
Tom.
so, because let me see what I have.
Let me if I can get my mouse to work here, I'm going to pull it up for you.
I don't have a mouth. I'm looking at myself on the monitor, and I don't have a mouth.
No, my mouse.
Oh.
And the story reads, Open jihad declared in Egypt following State Department meeting with Muslim Brotherhood aligned leaders. Muslim Brotherhood calls for long, uncompromising jihad.
Huh? Well, can you put that up? Let me see it.
Muslim Brotherhood called for a long, uncompromising jihad in Egypt just days after a delegation of the Islamist group's key leaders and allies met with the State Department, the United States State Department, according to an official statement released this week.
And this is very, very interesting here on WSBR Radio 740 AM, theunitedwest.org. If you're watching, teapartycommunity.org. Look at this. I can talk like my mouth's not even moving with this thing. I don't know if I like this.
I saw one of those Geico Flow commercials where she didn't have a mouth. I saw it on a YouTube ad earlier. It was very disturbing.
What happened to her mouth?
They like kind of screened it over.
On purpose?
Yeah. like you shouldn't talk about something or whatever. I didn't
Oh,
get
it's
the
kinda
whole
freaky.
thing, but it was really creepy.
All right, let me get this straight, because here's what we're doing today, folks. We're a man down. Mark, our illustrious director, J. Mark Campbell, is not here. He's under the weather. The bugs of D.C., I think they're Democrats. Democrat bugs of D.C. got to him, so pray for him, a speedy recovery. And normally, our producer, Damon, can jump right in that left seat and take off and land, but not when you rip the engine out of the plane and take it with you. So we had...
We're making it work.
We're making it work. I got this thing in front of me. I got my elbow like this. But this was the old days. This is like old-time radio. Now we have more fancy
You
stuff.
could get a gold one like Rush, man.
Yeah. You know, he's still getting... he doesn't even talk into that thing, and it's great audio, so he's mic'd up somewhere. But what we're doing today is sharing some of our experiences with our dear friends listening and watching over our Washington trip, where we went to an Iranian briefing by some of the top experts on Iran's nuclear capability. And the conclusion was that the negotiations that President Obama is heading up and the State Department is heading up are an abject failure. And if we are going to continue to negotiate, we need to get control of that, increase sanctions, squeeze these suckers. And if they do not do what the world community right now through negotiations says, the United States must bomb them. That's our thesis. And in fact, that's President Obama's view, except he doesn't say we will bomb them. He just says, I will not let them get a weapon. There's no way to not let them get a weapon without bombing their facilities, unless he knows some magical way that nobody else in the world does, and he doesn't. But he also has the Muslim Brotherhood influencing him in Washington. And the question right now is the Egyptian Muslim brothers that went back and said, we need jihad here in Egypt, and then a couple of days later, 27 people were killed in the Sinai. Were they, Damon, the same people that were in the White House, or 1 or 2 degrees of separation, or what's the...
I mean, the people doing the murdering certainly weren't the ones in the White House, but it's the same Egyptian Muslim Brotherhood.
So...
I could read you the story. It's not that long.
Yeah.
Story.
This is important because, yesterday, 27 Egyptians were killed by the MB, by the Muslim Brotherhood, in the Sinai in several different attacks yesterday.
Sisi's going to go crazy.
Yeah. Let's hear the story. This is very important. At 48 minutes after 4.
Just days after a delegation that included 2 top Brotherhood leaders was hosted at the State Department, our U.S. State Department, the organization released an official statement calling on its supporters to, quote, prepare for jihad, according to an independent translation of the statement first posted on Tuesday. The State Department meeting was attended by a Deputy Assistant Secretary for Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor, and other State Department officials. The MB statement also was issued just 2 days before a major terror attack Thursday in Egypt's lawless Sinai region that killed at least 25, as you stated, 27, Tom. It is incumbent upon everyone. This is the MB quote. Now listen to this. This is amazing. It is incumbent upon everyone to be aware that we are in the process of a new phase where we summon what is latent in our strength, where we recall the meanings of jihad and prepare ourselves, our wives, our sons, our daughters, and whoever marched on our path to a long, uncompromising jihad. And during this stage, we ask for martyrdom, it states.
Oh, God.
Tom, I don't think they're talking about going to the gym or getting their kids to school on time when you mention an uncompromising
martyrdom.
jihad and ask for martyrdom.
And these are the Sunni side of the world, folks. The Sunni side of the world. Now we got the Shia side wanting a Persian bomb. And, you know what, Damon and everyone else at the United West, we need to find a line of work where there's something to do every day. I mean, there's nothing going on in the world in the area of insane Islamic jihad.
Tom, that is not true. The jihad business is booming.
The State Department, I'm going to save that. I got a little background here on Marie Harf, who works under Jen Psaki at the State Department. Marie Harf is a pretty accomplished individual. slick talker, has a little bit of a background, and ought to know better because she worked for the CIA as a analyst in the Middle East area. And then once you become a spokesperson, you go from being a serious forensic analyst. Now you're a political hack for whomever you're representing. In this case, it's the president. So I would love to sit down with Marie Elizabeth Harf, who's 33 years old, and have a beer with her and say, now, come on, nobody's listening, off the record. You really believe all this crap that you say? Because you were in the CIA as an expert on the Middle East. Do you believe what you're saying, that we shouldn't call these people terrorists and all of that? That would be an interesting discussion.
Taliban's not a terrorist.
Yeah.
Islam has nothing to do with terrorism.
So much stuff going on, so much little time left. Where is the hour going? But 52 minutes after right now, Tom Trento, your host, WSBR. We're live here in the studio. We've been in Washington, D.C. for 3 days. We went to a briefing Frank Gaffney put on with Claire Lopez and about 5 or 6 others. And the thesis was very simple. The United States Congress is trying to navigate a diplomatic approach with the Iranians to keep the Iranians from getting a nuclear bomb. It's not only is it okay that they could have nuclear technology and use it for medical application, even for power, for electricity, though they're sitting on one of the world's largest oil reserves on the face of the galaxy. Notwithstanding all of that, you can have all that crap. Not only can you have medical and energy nuclear capability, we, the West, will give it to you. Not only will we give it to you, we'll pay for it. Not only will we do that, we'll maintain it. Not only will we do that, we'll take the junk away and give you a new junk to keep you going forever. And what do the Iranians say?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Not good enough. Why? Why? If their objectives are medical and energy applications, and the Western countries, this isn't Azerbaijan or some little African country in the middle of Morocco guaranteeing it. This is France, Britain, Russia, China. These are the big boys all saying we don't want you getting a bomb. The world doesn't need more countries with a bomb. But you could have medical and you could have energy application, and all of us together will guarantee it, maintain it, pay for it under your direction. No, thank you. Why? Well, as we lay out our 3-part argument, which will be this Truth Squad briefing, which we just live streamed, which you could see, centerforsecuritypolicy.org. You can go watch it. We're going to produce a 1-hour special next week. Part 2 is going to be a personal interview with Matthew Kronig. He's the author of Time to Attack Iran. It's called Time to Attack. And he makes a phenomenal argument, an argument essentially that we are following, that lays out all the various options, eliminates them logically, concludes it's time to attack, particularly when these negotiations fail in March and June. And then the third part of and there's the cover of the book that was just on the screen, third part of our 3-part argument to persuade our listeners and viewers that the United States, not Israel, the United States, though I'm going to add a little modification to the argument. I'm going to say Israel ought to be involved in the attack, and I'll lay that out why. There's ups and downs for that. But our third leg of the 3-legged triangle, a 3-legged stool, that we're going to lay out to solidify the argument it's time to attack Iran will be a visit to Bibi Netanyahu's speech before the United States Congress March 3rd of this year. We will be back in Washington covering that. And as we know right now, the freaks are going to be there protesting Benjamin Netanyahu. We will be on the ground interacting with all the Code Pink and Answer and all of these lunatics. And we will have a team of Texas patriots, of Virginia patriots, and good old Americans standing by, giving a rousing welcome to Benjamin Netanyahu on March 3rd. So if you want to be there, let us know. We are organizing an event in Washington,
can I
D.C.
come with you?
Oh, that would be great, Iman.
I would love to come see him.
That would be great. What would you say if you had a chance to talk to
Well,
people?
this is Schmucky, you schmeckle. And what I would do is I would say, Bibi, why don't you blast them back to the Stone Age? Because they're gonna do it to you the first opportunity they get.
Well, and
That's what I would say.
Schmucky, he would say they are in the Stone Age, Schmucky. That's the problem. You know, we just can't let them get a bomb. They can stay in the Stone Age.
Let me tell you something. As much as I dislike the Shia, Iran is not a Stone Age country. It is a very advanced society.
Actually, that's a very, very, very good point. The Persians, for the most part, are not Arabs. The Arabs are very, very backward for a lot of reasons. Oh, that's an overgeneralization. No, it isn't. The exceptional Arabs are advanced. The tribal Arabs, and there's 1.3 billion Muslims.
1.7.
Yeah, no. Many of whom are Arabs. But and how could you say that, Tom Trento? Go look at the 2004 United Nations study on the Arab world being backward in all the various categories, from education to medicine to governmental care to art to history to culture to manufacturing. The United Nations did an extensive study on the condition of the Arabs worldwide and concluded they are simply a backward, uneducated demographic worldwide. The United Nations! I'm telling you what the United Nations concluded.
But that was
I have
just
the study.
basically a means to convict the West of doing that to the Muslims.
Yeah, the United Nations is a good friend of America and of Israel. No, that's just a fact of the record. But where are we? Here's where we are this wonderful Friday, and we want everybody to have a great, safe weekend. Monday, we'll be back doing a wrap-up. We're going to look at the tension up in the northern part, the northern Galilee, the Golan in Israel. We're going to have a couple of reports from folks we have up there. We're going to show you the horrible Kornet, K-O-R-N-E-T, Kornet missile, which was used to kill two IDF soldiers and injure many more, and possibly some of those may succumb to their injuries or be permanently scarred. And this was, you see some video of it right now. We'll show you this whole video next week. This is a Soviet-made, Soviet-supplied anti-tank missile that has the capability to knock out tanks. The Israelis have come up with countermeasures, but it hit essentially an unarmored Jeep and just killed the guys very, very quickly, sadly. How the hell did Hezbollah get a Soviet hardware to kill IDF soldiers? We're going to answer that question.
Well, basically from Syria. The Russians have been providing Syria forever. So
We'll answer that on Monday. We're going to take a look at that situation, have some reports from the front lines in Israel. And then we're almost done with the show. So what is that all about?
very important.
What is that? Oh, yes, with 1 minute left.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little over a minute.
A little over a minute.
Look, national security is critically important, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, and our relationship with Israel is foremost in terms of national security. But it's time for me to segue to one of the most important issues facing mankind. And that is, on Sunday, are you for the Seattle Seahawks or the New England Patriots?
That's a tough one.
It's Super Bowl time in the United States of America. Everything else stops. Nothing else exists, just the Super Bowl. Make sure you watch it. I'm going with Seattle. My money's on Seattle.
I think my money's on Seattle, too. I think there's been a little bit too much distractions with the whole deflating balls thing.
Yeah, and, we love our friends, John Houseman and others up in Charles Jacobs and all our friends up in Boston, but we do not like the Seattle Patriots.
Patriots.
I mean, the
New England
Patriots. And we're not wild about Seattle. I mean, there's a bunch of freaks up there, too, in many respects. But we like the Seattle Seahawks. So that's who I'm going for. We will let you know what happens over the weekend. Tune in next week. Tom Trento, Enemies of the State, WSBR Radio. A couple of weeks we'll be in our new studio. Our prayers for J. Mark Campbell. He gets well soon. Though Damien, you did a great job, man. No glitches, no anything.
Just one blue screen for a second.
No big deal. We're cool. All right, everybody. Goodbye. See you Monday. Take it easy.